Feeling swamped by notifications, endless pressure, and that constant worry about what might go wrong. It's wild, isn't it? So much of our stress comes not from what's actually happening, but from what we imagine might happen. Life's noisy, demanding, but guess what? The best tools for handling it all, for building real inner strength, are ancient. We're about to dig into 5 of these game changers that are surprisingly perfect for today. All right, let's get into it. We're talking Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, yes, but don't let the ancient part fool you. Think of names like Seneca, Epictetus, even the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. These guys weren't just sitting around thinking. They were developing a practical way to live a better, stronger life. It's like a mental toolkit for finding calm and purpose, especially when things get crazy. We've handpicked 5 powerful quotes from these Stoic thinkers, and these aren't just nice sayings. They're real strategies to help you handle stress, beat anxiety, and build a kind of inner strength that just doesn't quit. Ready to build up that mental resilience? Let's go. So, let's tackle our first modern challenge. That constant nagging anxiety. You know the drill. Worrying about that big presentation, overthinking what someone meant by that offhand comment, or getting stuck in that endless loop of what ifs. It's exhausting, right? This non-stop mental prep for disasters that rarely even happen just drains us. It robs us of our present happiness and makes it tough to get things done. But what if the biggest source of this suffering wasn't the outside world, but what's going on inside our heads? The great Stoic philosopher Seneca, who was a pretty big deal in ancient Rome, absolutely nailed it when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that for a second. How many hours have you wasted stressing about something that never actually happened, or turned out to be way less of a big deal than you thought? Seneca's reminding us that our minds are incredible storytellers, but sometimes they write these dramatic tragedies that life itself never planned. Now, this isn't to say bad things don't happen, but the suffering we put ourselves through beforehand, that habit of expecting the worst, is often heavier than the actual event. So, what's the game plan here? It's to become a bit of a critic for your own thoughts. When that anxiety starts to creep in, ask yourself, is this really happening right now, or am I just imagining it? Challenge the story you're telling yourself. Is this fear based on actual facts, or is my imagination just running wild? This isn't about trying to shut down your thoughts, but more about looking at them with a clear, rational eye, just like the Stoics taught. Things like mindfulness can really help here, getting you to focus on the present moment, noticing those anxious thoughts without letting them take over. When you learn to tell the difference between imagined worries and real problems, you free up so much mental energy and start building that solid inner calm. You stop being pulled around by every little fear and start putting your energy into what's real and what you can actually do something about. Ever feel like you're just kind of drifting? Like the days are just slipping away without any real sense of focus or what truly matters? We put off finding joy. We delay important talks. We don't chase what we really want, almost like we think we have all the time in the world. This kind of passive coasting is a sign of a life that's not being fully lived. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the wisest Stoic voices, had a powerful way to shake us out of this. His words are a straightforward yet energizing reminder to live with real intention. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This really gets to the heart of memento mori. Remember, you will die. Now, this isn't supposed to be gloomy. It's actually a pretty amazing psychological nudge to bring clarity and urgency into your life. If you really knew your time was limited, and it is, for all of us, how would that shift your priorities? Would you still get worked up about the small stuff? Would you hang on to that grudge? Would you wait to tell someone you care about them? The idea here is to use this awareness like a filter for your choices and actions. Before you get lost in pointless arguments, endless scrolling, or things that don't line up with what you really value, just pause. Ask yourself, if my time was short, is this how I'd want to spend it? This way of thinking helps you cut out the clutter and zero in on what actually makes life meaningful. It's about showing gratitude more often, forgiving more easily, and going after your goals with a clear focus. It's about living genuinely and with purpose, now, not at some vague point down the road. This practice doesn't create fear. It actually builds a deep appreciation for right now and a commitment to living fully, giving you an inner strength that's built on purpose and presence. How often do we point fingers at outside stuff for our unhappiness? A tough day at work, someone being rude, getting stuck in traffic. It's so easy to feel like our emotions are just being yanked around by the world. We chase after approval from others, hoping that achievements, things we own, or what other people think will finally make us happy, only to find that feeling doesn't last. Marcus Aurelius drops another piece of timeless wisdom that puts the power right back where it belongs, in our own hands. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This is a huge idea in Stoicism, and honestly, it's still pretty mind-blowing today. Your external circumstances aren't the main driver of your happiness. It's your internal world, specifically your thoughts, and how you interpret things, that really counts. Two people can go through the exact same situation and have totally different emotional reactions, all because of what they're thinking about it. So, the practical step here is to become a careful gardener of your own mind. This isn't about just thinking positive thoughts and ignoring problems. It's about consciously choosing to focus on rational, constructive, and helpful thought patterns. When negative thoughts pop up, and they always will, don't just let them take over. Notice them, then question them. Try to reframe them. Is there another way to see this? What can I learn here? What part of this can I actually control? Things like keeping a gratitude journal, where you actively look for the good in your life, or cognitive reframing, where you consciously shift your perspective on something negative, are really powerful. Meditation and mindfulness also help you become an observer of your thoughts, so you can choose which ones to really engage with and which to just let go. By improving your thoughts, you directly improve your life and build a solid inner calm that doesn't depend on what's happening around you. Life is full of surprises, right? Setbacks occur. People let us down. Plans fall apart. It's totally human to react emotionally when these things happen, to feel frustrated, angry, or defeated when life throws a curveball. We often feel like we're just victims of what happens, pushed around by things we can't control. But the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who went from being enslaved to one of the most respected thinkers of his time, gives us a game-changing perspective that puts control firmly back with us. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is probably one of the most empowering ideas in all of Stoicism. External events, by themselves, are neutral. They don't inherently have the power to make us happy or miserable. It's our interpretation and then our reaction to those events that decide their impact on us. While we can't always control what happens to us, we always have control over how we choose to respond. The key here is to create a little space between something happening and how you react to it. When something challenging comes up, instead of that instant emotional reaction, just take a moment, breathe. Remind yourself of this idea. Ask, what's the most rational, virtuous, and constructive way to handle this? This doesn't mean bottling up your emotions, but understanding them and then choosing a response that aligns with your values and what's best for you in the long run, instead of just being led by a knee-jerk impulse. Maybe it means responding to criticism with a calm request for more details instead of getting defensive, or facing a setback with a problem-solving attitude instead of giving up. Over time, consciously choosing your reactions builds incredible emotional resilience and true inner strength. You become less like a leaf blown around in the wind and more like a deeply rooted tree, able to handle storms because your stability comes from inside. Fear. It's a really powerful thing, isn't it? It often dictates our choices, or more often, what we don't do. Fear of failing, fear of what others will think, fear of being uncomfortable, fear of the unknown. These fears can keep us stuck in places we don't want to be, stopping us from reaching our potential or speaking up for what we believe in. We often think of freedom as not having external restrictions, but what about the internal chains of fear? Seneca, with his usual sharp insight into how we tick, gives us a powerful key to unlocking real freedom. He who is brave is free. For the Stoics, courage wasn't just about being a hero on the battlefield. It was a fundamental virtue you needed for a good life. This quote tells us that real freedom isn't just about not having physical chains, but it's an inner state you reach by being courageous. When we don't have courage, we're essentially slaves to our worries and what we try to avoid. We dodge challenges, shy away from tough conversations, and stay firmly planted in our comfort zones. That's not freedom. It's like a prison we build for ourselves. The way to use this is to intentionally practice courage in your everyday life. This means consciously facing your fears, whether they're big or small. It might be speaking speaking up for what you believe in, even if it's unpopular, taking on a task that scares you a bit, admitting you made a mistake, or setting a clear boundary with someone. Each time you act, even when you're scared, you expand your sense of what you're capable of and how free you are. Seneca isn't saying to be reckless, but to have a kind of reasoned courage that lets you act with integrity and go after what's right and meaningful, even when it's uncomfortable. This bravery starts to break down those internal barriers that hold you back, building a steady inner fortitude that allows you to move through life not as a prisoner of your fears, but as a free person in charge of your own choices and actions. So, these 5 Stoic insights, remembering that we often suffer more in our imagination, that our time isn't unlimited, that our thoughts shape our happiness, that our reactions are our true power, and that bravery leads to freedom. These aren't quick fixes. It's an ongoing practice. The Stoics themselves really stressed daily reflection and consistent effort. Maybe think about starting a journal to see how these ideas show up in your daily life. Practice being more mindful to get a better handle on your thoughts and reactions as they happen, and consciously choose to act with purpose and courage. These 5 Stoic quotes aren't just old sayings. They are powerful, practical tools for handling the ups and downs of modern life. They offer a kind of roadmap to change your daily experience from something that causes stress into a chance for growth. By consciously using this wisdom, you can systematically build that deep inner strength we've been talking about, a resilience that lets you not just get through life's challenges, but actually grow because of them. You have the power to choose your focus, your reactions, and your actions. Tap into that ancient wisdom and see how it can transform your world today. Which of these Stoic quotes really hit home for you? Is there one you're thinking of trying to put into practice this week? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Drop them in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more content to help you build a stronger, wiser, and more resilient life. Thanks for watching, and remember, the power to live well is within you.